Kellenberger here, Dustin Dopirak. Right behind us are members of Weezer and Green Day.
Yeah.
Also, somebody from Ohio State. We're not sure. Value Studio Arena here in Columbus. They really like to plug who has played here, and it's a pretty impressive list.
Yeah,
Paul
you
McCartney,
go down the line. There's a good list of good shows.
There's Elton right over my. Elton's over my right shoulder. Ray Charles over my left. I mean, it's surreal.
Jimmy Buffett's on here. There's a whole bunch of ones down the stretch. It's an impressive list of people.
Someday Jared Sullinger is going to be on this wall.
Indeed.
He may already
on this wall like two things.
Yeah. The Sullinger family is going to be all over this place.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, we'll get to it. Ohio State beats Indiana. Not
really
surprising.
Bad. Not surprising.
Really bad. Not surprising at all. They've played 80 minutes against each other this season, and it took far less than that for us to realize that Ohio State may be the absolute worst matchup for this Indiana team.
Oh yeah, very much so. But really, they're a bad matchup for everybody because they just have so much talent.
Yeah.
And even today, Jared Sullinger plays 13 minutes, scores 5 points, no field goals, 0 for 2 from the field, and it didn't matter at all.
Right.
It wasn't even remotely close.
Right, and it's easy to say, oh, that's because Deshaun Thomas scored 22, and Deshaun Thomas had a great game.
Yeah, he played out of his mind.
He played out of his mind. He played like Deshaun Thomas. If you saw him play for Fort Wayne Luers for 4 years, that was Deshaun Thomas. He just was a streaky kid that just all of a sudden, before you realized it, in high school it would be 40 points.
Yeah.
But you also get the feeling that if it wasn't Thomas, it was going to be David Lighty
or it was going to be
Buford or Kraft.
Yeah,
I mean, Debo,
somebody was going
to do it. I mean, Debo was the only guy who shot poorly. Even Dallas Lauderdale was 4 or 5 from the field.
Yeah, he got some alley-oops and just dunked on some people's heads today.
Yeah, he did. That was bad. This Indiana team's now lost 6 in a row. It's now been 1 year, 1 month, and 6 days since they won a road game.
Yeah.
Or even on a neutral court.
Yeah.
And you kind of. Dustin, what do you think about this team's mindset right now? Is this a team that's still fighting?
I don't want to say it's definitely not. I mean, I think that's a really harsh charge to lay against somebody to say that they've given up, and I don't think they have. I think they're pretty wounded, and they're going through a brutal stretch of teams that are just way better than them right now. Especially, I mean, this one is particularly, daunting. Obviously, this might be the best team in college basketball. I mean, there's a lot of other teams that are up for that, and I don't think there's a definitive dominant team in college basketball, but that might be the most talented one out there. I mean, they just come at you with
my column for tomorrow.
7 guys who are great.
Right. My column for tomorrow is actually Ohio State is the next national champion. If you look at the last 4 national champions, what they had, Ohio State matches up well.
Yeah.
You need dominating post guys. You need veterans that have been through it, that take one step at a time.
Yeah, guys who hit shots.
Guys hit shots, and there's a feel to it. Like, you can look at it at teams, and you could look at that North Carolina team that entire season, and you go, that's the national champion.
Yeah.
Because of the way they're playing. Not like and there are teams that are really talented, but you always go, but.
I'm not going to lie, though. I thought Kansas was going to win last year based on those
you think?
exact criteria. I really thought Kansas was the team last year. So there have been many a year where that hasn't worked.
But if the people that follow Duke all said the entire year Duke has it. And we all kind of said whatever because Duke had flamed out the last few tournaments.
And of course Duke did get a glass slipper right through the tournament.
Right, and there is that national whatever of just wanting to kind of hate on Duke.
Yeah,
but they had similar things. They had Brian Zuback. I mean, Brian Zuback in the middle was just huge.
Yeah,
This team messed out in Ohio State. Team messed out.
Exactly. It's one of those guys, just dirty work garbage players who block shots, get rebounds, that sort of thing. I mean, they have all the pieces. Whether it actually happens or not, who knows? But they're there. They could use maybe one more depth player. I think a lot of people look and say, you have a 7-man rotation, you should probably have an 8-man rotation. But
I think I have a feeling, and I could be completely wrong, that if they actually needed to, you would see the number 8 guy actually step up.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was similar last year though. They went 6 deep for so long.
They did. It's one more guy, but that team was much more dependent on Evan Turner.
True, very much so.
I think without Evan, the other 4 guys returning have all kind of assumed higher roles in the hierarchy, and they've kind of become this tribune council of leadership, much more than here's our guy and here's everyone else.
Exactly, this is true.
Anyways, let's
I guess we got to talk about Indiana.
Let's get back to Indiana.
People are gonna be mad at that last 3 minutes.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't think they've given up. I think they've run out of answers.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I think they have it, and there have been certain things that have been presented to them that have been kind of tough to overcome. I think, and the biggest thing right now that's new, I guess. I mean, the other stuff we've talked about, Watford playing with a bandage, Verdell still not being 100%. And
he didn't practice Friday, we were told.
Jordan Hall's having to deal with defensive pressure and focus in the game plan has been tough. I think today you saw it a lot. David Lighty talked about what they tried to do with him off of ball screens. And you saw, they obviously switched on him. They had the big cover him. And he couldn't get past them. Like Lauderdale and Sullinger, I think, kind of but basically showed out and stayed on him while somebody else switched and went with the guy who was rolling. And Jordan just couldn't get around him. He had a hard time getting looks, and I think it also is, I think we talked about, I think his legs are starting to go. He's having to work so much harder to get shots. He's trying to move so much more. That you have to recalibrate. It's not necessarily that he's exhausted or he can't play anymore, but your shot changes.
Right.
And that takes some getting used to. When you get to the point that you have to really fight and work and run around that much to get a shot, you have to recalibrate to actually hit it.
And Tom talked about how well he's been shooting in practice. I think the difference between practice and games is how well he is being defended.
Exactly.
And how much harder he has. Because I absolutely believe that in practice, Jordan makes him at an incredibly high rate. Mm-hmm. But in a game, after he's had to run around for 25 seconds and fight under X number of screens and handle the ball and do this and do that and whatever else, it finally comes time to take the shot, and it's just like just that little half of inch you don't have anymore. And so
it's not even necessarily that you're short on all of them. You just have to recalibrate. Like your entire shot is different. Like you have to the amount of force that you have. The muscle that you're used to having isn't there. So maybe you recalibrate too much. Maybe you put you overcompensate. Maybe you undercompensate. One or the other. It changes things. You have to get used to it. Whether again, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be hitting front rim every single time.
No, because there were times that he was long. I meant half inch, just in terms of vertical leap.
Exactly. All of that changes the way you have to shoot the shot. It takes some getting used to.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a new thing for him. I don't think it's something that he will never be able to do in the future. But
no,
I think right now, it's
part of the process.
It's just a drag that he's not used to having at this point.
Right, and Tom was very honest. They need Christian, Verdell, and Jordan to all be scoring in order to be successful.
Absolutely.
Tonight,
and he also said they need one more. They need more. They need somebody else. A fourth guy doesn't necessarily even have to be in double digits, but they just have to have contributions.
Right.
From
when this team was playing well, that 2-week stretch when this season seemed to be turned around, it was Christian was playing really well, Jordan was playing really well. And Verdell was hurt.
But Vic Oladipo was getting after it.
Sheehy, Roth, Rivers, were all putting in 8 to 10, 11 points a game. And suddenly the sum of the parts became enough.
Right, exactly.
So in some way they need to get back to that, but it's a lot harder because teams kind of figured out those guys. Yeah. He's much more. Tom Crean's much more hesitant to use Matt Roth because of defensive problems than when he was kind of forced to use Matt just because he was out of options.
Right. Exactly.
So this team has 3 games left, including the Big Ten tournament opener. We don't know who that's going to be, but Wisconsin's coming. Yeah. Wisconsin's Wisconsin. I think they're playing.
It's one of it's one of those games. It's not out of the realm of possibility that you could pull that one off on senior night. Just the way they play at home.
Literally senior night, not seniors night. Senior night. Yeah.
Jeremiah Rivers.
He's your senior.
We're excited for the speech, actually. I think he's going to do.
I'm not excited for a deadline, but I'm excited for the speech. It's 9 o'clock start.
Oh, you're right.
Jeremiah, he can talk. Yeah. So he could go for a while.
Yeah.
Give that man a mic. So someone may have.
He can go.
Yeah. Someone may have to turn on the music.
Yeah. Exactly. There might be a hook involved. Like one of those canes that somebody just drags somebody up. That might happen.
That would be mean. It's a senior night.
It would be mean, but
just have the band start playing.
Yeah. I think we'll end up missing it. We'll probably end up having to write something, but one way or another.
Anyways,
that's not a game that's unwinnable for them.
No,
because the way Wisconsin plays, they don't blow you out.
No, but Saturday, going to Champaign. That's a game.
Yeah. Because Illinois
is
one of the biggest case teams I think we've
Let's just say this. Illinois is Illinois.
Yeah.
You're right. Dimitri McCamey, if
maybe on senior night he wants to score 40.
If you are a Big Ten media member and you vote for Dimitri McCamey on the All Big Ten team, I'm going to hunt you down. There is no way that kid is one of the 10 or 15 best players. Pure talent,
absolutely.
Pure talent, absolutely. Actual execution and making your team better as a senior 4-year starter at point guard.
You tried it out big time.
No.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't go. Don't go that way.
No.
You want to go with Mike Davis because he's the one guy that's still trying to do it? Okay, I will allow you that. Yeah. But Dimitri
McCabe, I mean, it's not. I mean, it'll be a tough stretch. It'll be 36-hour turnaround or whatever. But it's not out of the question.
Yeah. If they have one more punch in them,
yeah,
we're gonna see it Saturday.
Exactly. I think you'll see it both days. I think you'll see a punch both days. Right. I don't think they're going to get embarrassed or run off the court in either one of those. No, certainly not like tonight. Neither one of those teams are at this level.
No, absolutely not.
But
it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's still something to be gained out of this year, but
yeah,
All
right, we're going to head back to Bloomington. We will report back Monday Big Ten conference. We will talk to Tom.
Yeah.
Get his thoughts. He usually has watched the film, so he's able to kind of provide more. Analysis of what happened.
Anyways, I'm trying to watch some sectional stuff this week, actually.
Sectional. I'm going to go see Jaquan Lyle. It's my first time seeing him. Nice. I'm going to drive 2 hours to Princeton to watch brutal. A 14-year-old. Life.